Good morning, everybody. Welcome along to Sunrise Daily today. I'm Chamberlain. So,
it looks like one of those days that will be beautiful. I'm Kaido Kikilu.
Is there any day that is not beautiful, really?
This is one of those that will be beautiful, definitely.
yeah.
Amaya Makene, good morning and welcome.
Oh, yeah. It should be one of those days. Well, the thing about it is that, what is that law of aerodynamics? Okay.
Go ahead. Plant it.
You know, the chances are that it's made a lot more real in our experiences in this part of the world because you've got so many things just pulling against you and you're moving against in the opposite direction. But you have to just keep hope alive. I mean, yesterday I got several calls about Ikeja Disco. They just kept on saying, look, somebody need help. They complained about metering. You know, they were supposed to have rolled out prepaid meters, get everybody to get prepaid meters. But they said, look, this is not happening. And then they say that the disco told them, look, we're not interested in coming to read your meters anymore. For those who are billed via estimated billing. They say, we'll just give you the bill. Pay it or leave it.
Oh, dear. That's quite sad.
So it appears as if everybody's going haywire in different places.
Oh,
That's what you see, and those responses are, well, time and again, just keep coming through as to what is going on. We're supposed to follow the processes. And even those who have prepaid meters, they keep telling them, well, your meter is faulty. And you're like, how is my meter faulty?
I didn't make the meter, did I?
How did the meter become faulty? It's been working perfectly. And how do you all of a sudden wake up and say it's faulty? So I don't know what's going on. We're getting so many calls from Ikeja Disco, but I think it's something we'll have to go look into and ask consumers what their experiences are and see what is happening.
Hey, don't go far. I can tell you about my experience.
There you go.
Don't go far. Yes, you can tell us about your experience, really. But hey, prepaid billing is not the funniest things, really. Because you know how much appliances you have, right? Imagine you have just a standing fan and just a few light bulbs, and you get a bill of 15,000 per month. I mean, that's mind-blowing. It's not mind-blowing, it is heart-wrenching. Because you know that you're not using as much. In fact, if you were using maybe double of the appliances you had, maybe you'd spend like 5,000 per month, but getting a bill of 15,000 because you have to share it across maybe every house on that street or in that area. Because what they said is that they have a central meter and then they divide it by the number of meters in that area, whatever the calculation is. But prepaid billing is a sad reality of where we are today. The president has spoken time and again saying you need to ensure that people are metered. And he gave a time frame. He said that, a lot of support has been given, but clearly that is not happening. So it is sad.
Even the NERC had said in part of their regulations that, look, before you jack up the prices, make sure everyone has meters. Please, what's NERC saying about that right now? Are we even hearing anything?
Well, I sent a mail to NERC at some point. I sent it again, thinking maybe it was network issues. I sent it again. I didn't even get an okay or acknowledged or any follow-up. Nothing happened.
There you go.
I don't even want to... Because, we seem to forget the spiral effect of these things. We're talking about ease of doing business, and government is going to come asking you for all kinds of taxes. And you still have to make sure that the business is running. This is why small businesses fail within 5 years or less.
And when you pay the tax, the authorities come in when they're supposed to provide those amenities, and if there's an error, when you reach out to them, they make it look as if you're doing them or they're doing you a favor. And you're like, excuse me, I'm a taxpayer.
It's one of those things we need to legalize or legislate.
How do you legislate that kind of thing? And I keep telling them, look, nobody goes into government with their pocket money. So their mindset needs to change. They're not doing the people a favor. It is taxpayers' money, and if people are paying their taxes, they have to ask government questions.
I think
as uncomfortable as it may sound, they have to ask government questions.
I think you should be more blunt, Chamberlain. They're not just not doing people a favor. They're getting paid for it. It's a job. You are recruited to serve and get paid and pay your taxes well.
So remember when I asked the commissioner about how hard it is to have government at least function to a large extent like private or corporate organizations, and the response was comparing apples to oranges, but I mean, we need these things to
Let's
work.
compare apples and oranges. They are fruits.
They're fruits. They give you vitamins. They provide
They are fruits.
And we need this to work. I mean, you
Please.
go to other countries. They're planning 50 years ahead. They have gone past this phase. They're already planning decades ahead. Hey, let's not compare, right?
And then on Twitter, I'm speaking about Twitter, we did put up a poll, and we're asking you, the former president was saying that we needed to limit the role of courts in our elections and how they return officers. So he wants something to be done about it, such that ultimately, I think his thinking is that a lot of things people should decide. And to a large extent, they should decide. So we did ask you, what do you think about that? Do you want to see that limit or not? Or what other suggestions do you think will make it a lot better such that you can have a voice when you go out to vote? Because, I mean, ultimately, if we're able to a large extent, sort out the leadership recruitment process in this country, people will believe in leadership a lot more. I think it will raise it a little more, knowing that, well, these are the local government people that I really and truly elected. And then I could be able to ask them questions because they will feel that sense of participation. So I think we'll go ahead and vote in the poll.
If you don't mind, Jimmy, just for a few seconds, I think we need to underscore the fact that voter apathy has increased greatly.
Yeah.
And it's simply because when people vote, it will seem like their votes don't count. It's the court that is going to decide anyway, so why do I need to go waste my time to cast a vote? So add your voice. Let's see what you believe and what you even understand about this whole process. Should courts be the ones determining how you vote or who comes in after you have voted? Or what do you think? Just go ahead and add your voice. Already we have about 621 people voted, so go ahead, add your voice.
If you're wondering where to go to, it's right there on our Twitter handle at Sunrise Daily Now. This has been quite interesting hearing comments from people, what they think. This is something that concerns you. In fact, this is like voting, this is election. So how about we start here so we can have a seamless process when the elections come?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see Dorian saying, look, the ballot should always determine the winner. If a candidate is disqualified for any reason, rather than award victory to the next person, you know, he just goes on saying that should be part of the action. So just go ahead and let's get your voices heard. So, having said that, let's move on and take you through some of the dailies this morning. We'll start with Nigerian Tribune today. Kidnappers kill policeman, abduct 4 in Abuja, 3 women in Ibadan. So, you know, we'll keep asking the question. Why does it appear as though they're having a free reign in spite of all the directives, you know, the shoot at sight, the very last times, because it's not once that has been said, but you still get to see that. Amotekun arrests 3 suspected kidnappers in Ekiti Forest. So they're working, they're swung into action, and they're doing what they have to do at that point in time. So there you go. Look at this image you see right on the front page there. Some of the legislative aides protesting non-payment of their salaries at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja, on Tuesday. I know it's the last thing you thought you were going to see. You thought legislative aides, piece of cake, they should be paid regularly. You shouldn't think about it.
Wait, what am legislative aides?
You heard?
Not the civil servants working in the House of Assembly, the National Assembly.
So those are aides to
the politicians.
senators and reps of the House of Representatives?
Okay.
There you go. And then right beneath that,
Reminds you of that.
one that never sees, right?
Oh dear. That talk about everybody getting their breakfast, right?
There you go. You see, 7 years after Chibok abduction, over 640 students kidnapped between December 2020 and March 2021. That's Amnesty International. 640 students. Says Nigeria risks losing a generation. 600 schools shot over abduction fear. Over 100 Chibok girls still in captivity. Does it sound like people are listening or paying attention and trying to do something about this? Because these are not just stats. This has huge implications in a lot of things.
Nigeria risks losing a generation.
That's what you're saying here. Because if over 600 schools, it says 600 schools have been shot. And remember, over fear of abduction. So
if we're grappling with this, magnitude of insecurity now, these children are not, they aren't grown yet. They're still children to a large extent. Imagine what will happen next 5, 10 years if this goes on.
Every time I talk about where we're coming from, 20 years ago, the person who is 40 years old today was 20 years ago. The person who is 20 years old today was a baby 20 years ago. And let's just extrapolate. If this trend continues and we understand the gravitation of our insecurity over the years, it would seem like it's either we're not learning or we're not listening.
Well, let's listen and watch what's on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. It's insecurity again. Kidnappings, killings, doctors, nurses on strike in Ogun. But for that one, that's perhaps for the nation's capital. You see the front page. Insecurity, 6 northern governors link up to fight banditry, terrorism. So those are the two variations you find on the front pages of the Vanguard this morning, either the E front page or the regional front page. But take a look at the riders. Bandits kidnap women in Oyo. Hunters await government approval to rescue victims. NURTW commences e-tracking of vehicles. Okay, that's quite interesting. It's quite a lot, really. So you find more details in the inside pages. But the picture you see there is Pastor Adeboye visiting El Rufai just yesterday, and they spoke about insecurity, banditry in the region and the country at large. Right under that, you see Southeast Governors IPOB on collision course over Ebube Agu. What is this about? Well, page 5 should give you more insight. And you see that story about insecurity, the Northern Governors linking up. On top of the nameplates, this one has been trending. EFCC arrests ex-Imo Governor Okorocha over alleged 7.9 billion naira cash in banks. It's on page 11. Well, reports say this has been ongoing for quite some time now. So finally, he was invited to answer questions, I believe. So we'll stay on that, see what comes out of it. Apparently, this hijab thing still ongoing. No to hijab in Christian schools. That's coming from Khan. That's on page 8 of the Vanguard. There's also sports. Just a quick one. Delta wins Edo 2020 Sports Festival. Yeah. Delta went to Edo State and still clinched the top spot.
It's the same state.
The same what?
Right?
The same state. Oh yeah,
The
same governor.
No way.
The same budget.
Not the same state.
Delta. No way. Historically speaking.
Let me just give you the top 7. You know what? Wait for sports this morning. You get the deets right on that one in the next couple of hours. Okay, due to popular demand, people asking about Mr. and Mrs.
Who this popular is.
You want us to name names?
So Mr. and Mrs., you see, Mr. saying, you broke the eggs, fried the contents, and threw away the shells. Is that why you call this food homeless? It is called omelette, she says. Not homeless. Bushman. All right. Ouch.
Daily Trust leads with, again, the stories of insecurity and definitely touching. 7 years after abduction, we want to see our daughters before we die. Chibok parents, same as the paper you took the other time, Chamberlain. Well, Daily Trust is specific this time. 112 girls still in captivity. Most of freed 107 students yet to pass SSSE. Nigeria yet to learn from Chibok tragedy, according to Amnesty International. Others dropped out, got married. That story is on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And every day, Since the abduction, Daily Trust has counted the days, 2,549 days since Chibok schoolgirls were abducted. Figures are always there on a daily basis. So, well, let's leave it there for the Daily Trust newspaper. Good morning, Markwe.
Good morning, gentlemen. Indeed, the Daily Trust has done a fine job of keeping it on track. You know, there was a time when almost all the papers were counting, and then, you know, a few of them stopped. But Daily Trust has kept up that count since the Chibok schoolgirls went missing. And now it's another anniversary. It's really so sad. But let's look at what leadership has on the front page for you this morning. Electoral offences bill. Political parties, officials risk 50 million naira fine over unqualified candidates. It's a page 4 read. You know, there's now this debate, which we also put out yesterday, as to whether or not the judiciary's role should be limited in electoral matters. And a lot of people agreed with former President Goodluck Jonathan that indeed it should be. So perhaps this fine or this particular bill is also aimed at reducing the influence of the judiciary, because in some cases they wouldn't have to intervene if only political parties will get the qualification of their candidates right. Right now they're saying you risk 50 million naira fine over unqualified candidates. You might want to read full details on page 4 of the paper. Presenters of fake credentials to pay 5 million naira face imprisonment. So it looks pretty stern and pretty stiff here. Look at all the stories at the bottom here. Why Nigeria-France bilateral trade dropped to $2.3 billion, as according to a French minister. Many injured as gas explosion rocks Lagos, not again. It's a page 11 read there. DPR denies revoking 32 refinery licenses. That's also there. Money laundering. EFCC arrest Okorocha after 5-hour chase. That's also there on the front page for you. And leadership has started a conversation series. You might want to read what Aisha also is writing this morning. Women and time for business unusual in the political space. Well, she'll know. She's written a book on it, so you might want to know. I think subtitled Love Doesn't Win Elections. So you might want to read this one for women who are interested in politics. Let's leave it there for leadership newspapers.
Yeah, about 5 million for fake credentials. Isn't that too small? Just thinking, actually, you know, because I mean, the stress is the authorities will take to go and verify who did this. Is actually a right document? And, you know, if you're even thinking about it alone, it should be 5 million. Then if you present it...
How about you know?
Yeah, it's that bad, it's that serious.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people go through things to go get it, and then somebody comes in with fake one. Even the 50 million, I'll think about that later.
As a judge and jury right there.
Look at the blueprints this morning. IPOP to Southeast Youth. Embrace Ebube Agu, join your ancestors. Says security outfit formed to sabotage ESN. Gunmen abduct female soldier, 2 others in Ibadan. 2 kidnapped in Abuja. Troops foil attempt at Plateau Varsity. Ebube meet El Rufai, says victory is in sight. And so, again, I mean, when you read through these dailies, this kind of stories every day, chances are you may just gloss through them, you know, without just taking a moment, pause and internalize these things, because, look, this is a very, very deep one, because if they abducted any and everybody, from soldiers to relatives of top people, anybody, so it is a serious matter that we've got on our hands, and really something should be done about it. They equally do have drama as NAS staff protest unpaid salary arrears. So that also featuring prominently right here on the front page. I know many just wondering why will that be the case.
I think there's a challenge here. I think there's a culture of owing salaries. And I think no one is immune from this. No one is exempted. There's this culture, clearly, because, I mean, who has not been owed salary arrears, especially government workers? I think we should look into this one. The Daily Times leads with that EFCC arresting Okorocha story. It's on page 2. And you see the 2 pictures, one of Okorocha Senator Okorocha, the next of the EFCC boss, trying to tell that story. And you see, access to finance crucial to Africa's vaccine production. So
yeah, it's always been key.
yeah, but when you look at Africa's capacity to actually, produce vaccines, you begin to wonder how soon can we achieve that. So, well, the Daily Times is leading with that, putting a spotlight on that one, saying that access to finance crucial. Where will that finance come from? Huge question.
Nigerian News Direct this morning leads with Army Chief to Reps. Invite my predecessors on funds for arms. That's how the paper leads it this morning, and you're asking yourself a lot of things. So what exactly does this mean, and how does this pan with anyone? Well, the details are on the inside pages.
That drama that played out there. Wow.
Sincerely, it isn't dramatic. It is serious. Because for those who watched the back and forth, communication experts will tell you that what you say, the words, that's about 5% of the communication. Body language is a lot of it. So you may want to go see the video and understand what that is about. Nigeria to receive 6 Super Tucanos combat aircraft in mid-July, according to presidency. Find out the details of that on the front page or the inside pages of Nigerian News Direct. COVID-19, stop spreading rumors, get vaccinated. UNICEF tells Nigerians. That's on page 2. Markwe.
Well, let's look at The Guardian now, and you see there fresh concerns over loans burden from China. That's the lead story there. China's secrecy clause to loans poses problems, says study. Exposure to Exim Bank increased by over 2,000% in 8 years. Lawyers defend legislative scrutiny, sovereign immunity clause. To page 2 read. So that sovereign immunity clause, the different interpretations to it, apparently. The larger interpretation should be that when you default on a loan and you're taken to a court, an international court, for instance, a country shouldn't come and plead and say, I'm a sovereign entity, you cannot sue me. And I think that's a larger interpretation. But, in some other instances, it's also been read to be something else, that, a country could take over your sovereignty, as it were, and who knows, it could be a reality. But when you choose to go into debt or take a loan, wouldn't some people argue that you have ceded a bit of your sovereignty somewhat? Have you? Fresh concerns over loans burden from China is the lead story on the front page of The Guardian. Adeboye predicts victory over insecurity, banditry is the lead story as police inspector is killed in FCT while operatives foil kidnap attacks. Oh, God rest that operative's soul. Very few policemen are willing to sacrifice their lives these days. So when we do see this sort of story, it is important to take a moment to celebrate our heroes, those who actually do put their lives on the line to ensure that we have some freedom. A number of other stories just beneath the nameplate. I'll leave you to do them yourself. Governor spurn Order 10 to implement extend financial autonomy law with conditions. It's a page 4 read. And reps summon minister over resident doctors' grievances. That story is also there for you on the front page of The Guardian. Let's leave it there for the paper.
Take a look at Daily Independent next. Jet A1 at 275 naira per litre increases fear of adulteration. Airfare hike. They should just tell us they want to hike. They hike distance anyway. So what's the big deal about some of these states? Look at the other one here. 100% physical cargo exam hurts ease of doing business. Does anybody need any telling to let you know that this will be the case? JAMB accuses Uni Abuja others of admission racketeering. So Uni Abuja, what say you? Are you racketeering over this kind of matter? And I think a lot of people we'll have to listen to that, read that up and see how that eventually plays itself out. So that is it with a look at Daily Independent, as well as some of the dailies here this morning. We're back in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, yes, as you may have seen there, we are joined now by His Excellency David Umahi, Governor of Ebonyi State and the Chairman, Southeast Governors Forum. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, the announcement of Ebube Agu, has this always been the plan, or this was necessitated by developments going on in the Southeast about those security threats, the attacks we've seen in different parts of the region?
Good morning, Chamberlain. It has been there. Do not forget that the Southeast has started this issue of regional security. And we had membership from all the Southeast states to coordinate the activity. What we didn't have until this last week was the common name and mode of operation. So we have fine-tuned them and we came out with the name. And that's the Ebube that we are now.
This was the view, I think, last year. I mean, a lot of people thought the Southeast was going to come up with something. It was around the period Amotekun also was taking shape. And then you had that meeting with the Inspector General of Police. I recall that Ohanes Ndigbo staged a walkout, and then I think things eventually were resolved. But coming out of that meeting, you said you had bought into the community policing initiative of the Nigeria Police Force that's at the top. So when we asked that, has this always been the plan? It seemed as though you were going the way of the community policing initiative originally, and then this comes up.
Well, you have to understand, the mode of operation of the Ebube Agu, because the content has always been there, even before the nation started talking about community policing. It has always been there. It's people-oriented security.
Did you always plan to have Ebube Agu as you're planning to have it now? Or let me just rephrase. What happened to you buying into the community policing initiative of the Nigeria Police Force?
The community policing is different from Ebube Agu. So these are two distinct programs. And I thought we are talking about Ebube Agu here. But if you are talking about community policing, it's also a very good program, because the content is such that the traditional rulers came in at the various communities, and the Nigerian police force did not draw the members, for the community. They drew the members by themselves. So that is about community policing, and I think it's a good program.
So is Ebube Agu going to function as regional security?
I do not understand what you call regional security. If you let me understand, then I can explain.
Okay, maybe you should go ahead and tell us the modus operandi of this security network, because, I mean, the impression people have is it is going to be a regional security. We had the chairman of the Southeast Security Committee saying, well, they're going to function as such, as regional security. States will pass laws that will enable Ebube Agu function in different states, but they will be able to cross borders, they will cooperate, and have a central command in Enugu.
You said it well, Emily. When people talk about, regional security, you must know that as a governor, as a leader, you have to operate within the limits, of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You may have pressure, which goes with the job, but you must confine yourself to the Constitution. What we are doing in Saudi, which is lawful, which is within the Constitution, is that every of our 5 Southeast states, we have our security network. You can call it a vigilante, if you like. And this vigilante is a creation of the law. So when people say make laws, they are not in the knowledge that we already made laws. There is no way we would have been operating in our security in our various states that is people-oriented without a law. So we all have laws. For example, in Enugu State, you have 2 aspects. You have the forest guard and you have the neighborhood watch. Ebonyi State have the neighborhood watch. Anambra State has the name. The Imo State has the name. Abia State has the name. So this type of security program is weaved around the concept of community policing or state police, in the sense that the best that the security outfits in Enugu State can do for Ebonyi State is to share intelligence. And that's why when we talk about state police, it's because we are going to be joint members of the police from within the state who know the social terrain, who know the history of the state, who know, all the problems of the state. And that's what this Ebube Agu is about. So when we bring our 5 Southeast security outfits together, then you now have what is called a Ebube Agu. And the headquarters is in Enugu State. We're going to have some, communication equipment there. We're going to share intelligence. The Ebonyi people could cross over to Enugu State because we share boundaries, maybe chasing criminals, maybe rescuing kidnapped victims, and so on and so forth. So that's how it operates. But further to this, there is going to be an amendment of the laws that we have passed in our various states to incorporate the cooperation, between states in this regard. And our committee that is, coordinating this, being contributed by various states of Southeast, I've already drawn up, the law that will be common to 5 South states in terms of this cooperation. But for example, in our, local security, outfit, we may have a particular challenge in Ebonyi State, which is different from the challenge in Enugu State. And so we have to incorporate that in our law, which Enugu State may not incorporate. But all said and done, the content of the law should be the same. It is to protect our people, is to make peace, amongst all the people living in South.
When you say that, Ebube Agu is basically the coming together of those individual security outfits across the Southeast states to form a joint front such that those operatives can cross borders and operate in neighboring states just to share intelligence as well. For me, it contradicts what you said when we hosted you last month. And just to take a quote, you said that if anybody tells you that there could be security personnel contributed from different states to form joint security for this region, it is not a possibility. And that was when we asked you about a possible joint security network. And you said it is not a possibility. Is this different from what's happening now, or this is just taken out of context?
I'm sure you didn't understand me very well. My statement last time and this time, that's still very consistent. I'm saying to you that we have, security outfits in our 5 states. And these outfits are peculiar, in each of the states based on the problems we have in this state. Like that, we have, intelligence sharing, we have, coordinating units, we have our headquarters in Enugu, we have our communication gadgets there. And that while tracking criminals, that the security outfit could cross over to Enugu State because we share boundaries, for example, to track down criminals. It has not, it doesn't go to say that we are contributing a force to Enugu State, to fight crime. No, but we are cooperating in terms of intelligence sharing. We can also cross over to chase criminals, or to rescue kidnapped victims. So that's the explanation.
I mean, this has been ongoing. I'm sure you may have seen that debate. So just to clear the air once more, is this a joint security outfit? Because that's the term used to form a joint security for the region. You said it is not a possibility. So is this joint in that context?
I do not understand whether it's joint or it's not joint. We have a program, we've defined how the program operates, and the most important thing is to secure the lives of our people and to act within the context of the Constitution.
In that meeting with other Southeast governors, in the communique you issued, you actually used the term to coordinate and monitor the implementation of the Southeast Joint Security Platform. So you use the term joint. So and you use that same term joint. So that's the term I'm talking about, the joint that you used.
At what state is it disjointed? Because when you share intelligence, it's joint. When you meet together to, outline your program, it's joint. When you have a common, leadership, it's joint. It's not totally, people believe that it's only when we have let's say every state contributes 1,000 personnel to Enugu State, and then we have our a kind of barracks there. That's the kind of thing people think, but it's not possible within the context of the Constitution, and it's also not feasible in the sense that the man from Enugu State will not understand the terrain and the problems in Ebonyi State. So the best bet is to share intelligence, and the best bet is to also allow, for example, Enugu State to cross over to the border, without any molestation or violation of, the laws of the state, to track down criminals and so on and so forth. So this joint thing is being misunderstood.
Excellency, will there be joint funding too on this one?
The most important thing is that they will be funded. Definitely, our headquarters in Enugu must be jointly funded.
Your Excellency, one of the things that's also contained in the communique that you released is, item 11, again, I go there. So let me hear from you, since you are the one who spoke on behalf of your colleagues. The Southeast governors requested the acting IGP to stop the influx of IGP monitoring units, or to allow CPs and state and zonal commands to handle their cases. It would seem like this is saying that Southeast governors are not likely or willing or fully interested in cooperating with the IGP's community policing strategy.
What you have asked is totally different from what we meant and what we read out. The community policing, we've embraced it. We've demanded the federal government to fund it. It's community-based and it's powered by the people. But what we were trying to complain to the new acting IGP is what we had agreed with the immediate past IGP. You have a police command and hierarchy from the Abuja headquarters. You have the zonal command, you have the headquarters at the state level, you have the the senatorial area command. You also have the police headquarters at the general government. So it's an aberration for somebody to sit down somewhere and write a petition to Abuja, and they come down to arrest people without any first hand being the matter being tried by the local police headquarters, the area command, the state police, what is the need of having all this command if you can just come straight? And we found so much of that, and that's how the Igwe in Enugu State was killed. The matter is still being investigated. The governor is very angry. The people are very angry. So we are saying that this should stop. Allow the matters to be referred, from bottom to top. The police even come all the way from Abuja to arrest people because of land cases. They have no business with that. And we are saying, as chief security officers, the governor, if you want a matter to be referred to Abuja, or Abuja is coming to arrest people. Can you let the governors know about it? Because these days, criminals are putting on police uniforms, army uniforms. Anything can happen. You tell us, oh, these people come and they take permission from the state. Supposing people also prove that they are taking position from the state and get our people killed on the way. So I think things should be rightly done. That's exactly what we are insisting.
Excellency, does that in any way suggest that the arrangement that the police had been working with along the line that you have talked about now, does that in any way suggest that it is not functional or effective enough to secure the lives and property of the people in the state, as far as the police is concerned?
It's very wrong. It's very, very wrong. And it must be looked into. I do not see why somebody will write a petition, or somebody has a case in the state and he will write to Abuja. The case has not been tried, at the point of, the location of committing the crime, and the person will write to Abuja. Abuja will get interested and will say the case file transferred. Or somebody sits somewhere and says trade to life and we write to Abuja. It's all the departments in Abuja. Most of them are also in the state and in the zones. So these things must stop. We have to give respect to our citizens and give respect to our profession. This is very important. If Abuja police headquarters, if they want to abolish the state police command and the other commands, down the line, they should do that. But we are very tired, in a matter that has procedures and due process, and then somebody will just sit down somewhere, right, and then the matter is truncated. It's very wrong.
Well, Your Excellency, we know that state governors like yourself have done a lot over the years to support the police system with funds and all of that. How is that going to affect the funding of the Ebube Agu security outfit in the southeast?
The word is management. We will be managing. It's quite very taxing. The states are, badly challenged. We fund all kinds of things to keep our people alive. So since security is a priority to us, and it should be to all the states, will we do everything possible to combine the funding, the assistance we give to our security agencies, and of course, will we properly fund the Ebube Agu?
Talking about funding for Ebube Agu specifically now, the key word here perhaps would be sustainability. How is the outfit going to be funded in a sustainable manner?
It's just actually how civil servants in my state, will be sustained. This is a creation of law. Our people are working there, they need to eat. They need their addresses, they need mobility and so on and so forth. So it should be properly funded. I told you that, security is number one, even before health and education, because it's the man that is alive that seeks health and that seeks education. So it should be funded properly because it's our, priority.
Well, we had a former commissioner of police who was speaking on funding, which may be a challenge if not properly handled to any security outfit. And he was suggesting that the states needed to have more funds from the center if those outfits in different states have got to survive, maybe such as Ebube Agu. Will that be necessary?
More than necessary. We need more assistance. We must at the same time commend Mr. President as far as governors are concerned. He has supported us in all kinds of diverse forms. We understand we have global economic challenges, and Nigeria is not an exception. But we continue to insist that whatever available resources at the center should also be used to assist the states. The states are going quite a lot of challenges, and I must say it.
talk about getting more funding from the center, perhaps will lead us to this next question. I mean, over time, we've seen you meet with the former IGP on security, the Southwest security plans, the community police. For this current acting IGP, what has the interface been like? What is the response you're getting from him regarding this? Because I think this will be vital to talks about funding and the rest.
Even though we've had a relationship on a personal ground and official ground with the IG, we've not really met with the acting IGP, so we can't talk about this answering your question. He was represented by the IG, from Southeast in our meeting, and so we'll not be able to say exactly what is on his mind, what is in.
All right, Your Excellency, we'll go to break now, but we'll come back and take up some other matters in just a moment. Please join us again. Welcome back. We're having a conversation with His Excellency Dave Umahi, Governor of Ebonyi State and Chairman Southeast Security Forum. Your Excellency, could you tell us, having made that announcement, what is the plan as to when it will actually take off?
Somebody, it has already taken off.
Oh.
I told you we have laws in our state for the formation of the security, and the security is working. What was not there before was the name and the mode of operation in terms of cooperation, sharing of intelligence, and just that. So we now have them, and so they're working, and they're going to be very effective. We're going to formally launch that step by step within the coming week.
So will there be recruitment of men for this, or you're going to rely on the vigilante groups you already have across the states?
We already have security people. We are going to be expanding as resources are available. We're going to be expanding as security challenges, coming up. We're going to be expanding, So they're working.
So are they going to be bearing arms?
Well, if it's within the Constitution, we will do whatever the Constitution says in this matter.
So when you said that, laws exist already, but some of them will be amended, but you say that it has kicked off already. So to what extent will that amendment affect this that has kicked off? What areas specifically are you planning to amend if this has kicked off already?
I already said so. In terms of, intelligence, in terms of, funding our headquarters, in terms of, ability or the freedom of one state to cross over to the other states along the border, to track down criminals or to protect the state. So these are the amendments we foresee that will happen.
Well, Your Excellency, if I may come into the conversation now, looking at the front page of Blueprint newspapers this morning, I don't know if you've seen this. IPOB to Southeast youth, embrace Ebube Agu, join your ancestors. That's the lead headline on the front page of Blueprint this morning. Now, for a number of people, it just goes to emphasize what they perceive could be the immediate challenge that Ebube Agu as a security outfit could face. Because before now, perhaps as a reluctance of the governors to form a security outfit, we heard of the establishment of the Eastern Security Network. And people are asking, how is this new vigilante group called Ebube Agu going to function, especially with the existence of the Eastern Security Network?
The governors want to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are working within the context of the Constitution. We are not going to be talking about, illegality. So we cannot join issues with illegality. But we are working to protect our people. And one thing we must know and know very well is for those who are calling for war in this country, especially those who are outside this country, one thing I tell them is that come back and lead us into war. Be at the forefront of the war, and we follow you. But you can't stay in the comfort of your zone and your rooms and then be making all kind of utterances, inciting people to go.
Yeah. It does look like we have some audio issues now. I don't know if His Excellency can still hear us. I can't hear anything here in Abuja. Gentlemen, if you can you?
Our connection back, and when we do have it, he will just go ahead and conclude his thoughts on that particular headline at the front page of one of the dailies today, which we did review if you caught the opening sequence where they were just trying to dissuade people. But part of the point he's making is such that they will work with the existing laws of this country. And he's suggesting that there are several persons who are living outside the shores of this country who are goading other people to war. So he's saying, well, you have to be here first. And so when you're here, let's see if you still maintain that narrative. I mean, yeah, people will disagree with certain things. That's a given, but whether or not they'll maintain the same narrative while here, who knows? I guess it remains to be seen. Maybe he'll shed a lot more light on that when we do get that connection back.
Because I think that's another front that this whole insecurity war battle is being fought.
Yeah.
What do you call it, propaganda, the information. I mean, there are people that follow these trends from day to day. There are people that go on social media, they visit websites, they listen to things. So you need the buying of those people, for example, if you want any security outfit to succeed. But how do you ensure that when there seems to be some conflicting information from different areas? So that would be a major issue for, the governors to contend with. And we'd like to also hear plans about countering such.
And remember what we say about vacuum. So when you have that conflicting information in some other areas, people, if they feel hard done by about certain things, some of those actions, it could be actions, it could be inactions of people in authority. And so because for those people to be making that comment consistently, it does suggest that there are those who are buying into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if they make those comments and people don't subscribe to it, they will feel as though they are lone wolves, as it were, in certain areas. But I'm not sure they get that same impression, hence why they seem to continue.
It will be very good to hear, His Excellency, the Governor of Ebonyi State, speak to us, especially about how they are carrying people along, because I think that's really, really critical. The trust quotient between the governed and the government is not just between the federal government and the state governments. It's not only the federal government and the people. Yeah. It is between the state governments as well and the people. Of course, the experiences during the NSAS, the looting of palliative warehouses is just one example of the highly depleted level of the trust between the people. And so there's a need for communication of the intents of the people of governments to the people. And not just to make an announcement, because it is one thing to announce that we're going to do this. It's another thing altogether to see those things being done, just like justice.
When we also focused on this matter a couple of days ago, remember when we asked about, we're still working to get Excellency back. Okay, well, I understand this back, so let me just rephrase Mark's question. Your Excellency, could you go ahead and conclude your thoughts about, you were talking about how you're working within the confines of the law, and that you were not going to subscribe to illegality. Could you continue on that?
Yeah, I was already, done with that. But, just to refresh the fact that the governors were to work within the limits of the Constitution, and there's no amount of pressure that will make the governors to go outside the Constitution. And that I was warning that people who darken country without knowledge, stay mostly outside the country, and the additional kinds of protection and inciting work should be very careful. And what I always say to them is, if you want war in this country, you can come down and do the work, not to stay outside and say all kinds of things. So we are not going to subscribe joining issues to illegality. But somebody is, dishing out words of terrorism and threats. These are very funny, because if you are working for the people, You first of all wait and see if this security outfit is not able to protect our people. But if your own security outfit is to cause the family between us and other tribes, in this country, which will lead to insecurity of the lives of our people living, elsewhere in this country. We say no to that, and that's what we've been fighting, and we keep fighting that, and we have no apology for that.
So how are you, because I mean, it would seem that you're making reference to some of the videos that we have seen of men alleged to be of the Eastern Security Network going into bushes and burning the huts of people who look like herdsmen, Fulani herdsmen more specifically. Now, for some people, it's a bit tricky because in many parts of the country, a number of these regional security outfits started as a result of perceived incursion from other parts, maybe not of the country, but maybe from outside of the country as well, causing problems in their villages. So you heard a governor saying we're going to, people should leave the forests. Now, we saw some movement in the southeast about that same period, but nothing came out of it. And then we saw Eastern Security Network, and then we saw some of these videos spring up online. Now you have formed Ebube Agu alongside your fellow governors in the southeast. And there are questions as to how are you going to be able to manage, especially now that because of the vacuum, there was Eastern Security Network. It seems to be doing something there which potentially could cause trouble from what you have said. And then you have that, and then you now have Ebube Agu. How is all of this going to work, especially with what has also happened in your own state of Ebonyi, where people have lost their lives as a result of foreign incursion into communities?
I think this kind of feeling is what is, giving life to some of this illegality. For example, I saw that video in the state, and where there is conflict, it is not resolved by conflict. This is very important. If there are, farmers headers conflict, which we agree that is in Southeast, but it's not only in Southeast, it's all over the country. And so we do not allow people to take laws into their hands by killing, cows and killing people. But I have to tell you that the header farmers crisis, they're not the only security challenges we have in South. We have the issue of kidnappers, and of late we have bandits that are now doing a lot of evil and saying that they are Eastern Security Network. They commit a lot of crimes and say the IPOB, and most of the time IPOB will come and say we have no hands in this, we have no hands in that. And so this is what is going on. We do not know which one is which, but we have the command of the law to protect the lives of our people. And we will not allow illegality to thrive in our land. Conflict will not resolve conflict. And whoever is doing whatever anybody is doing or saying, he should know that we governors, we are being very careful to manage conflict in Southeast so as to protect the lives of our people elsewhere. This is very important.
But this is the reality, Your Excellency. I really hate to press on it. This is the reality you currently have in your states, in different states of the Southeast. The question is, how do you intend to manage it? You have formed a new outfit. Another security outfit already exists, illegal as it is. At least that's what you say it is. How do you intend to manage it? Is the work of Ebube Agu also going to be to manage this illegality, which you say it is?
Of course, you should know that, because how do you manage illegality? You have to bring illegality within the confines of the law. This is the way to manage it.
Well, so in clear terms, if I get you very clearly, the Ebube Agu has been formed to combat the Eastern Security Network as well as other crimes.
That may be your opinion, but that is not our opinion. Ebube Agu is to protect the lives and properties of everyone living within Southeast. To
protect them from what? There must be something that has prompted the quick, because you have said that they're already in existence. I mean, it would seem that all you had to do was proclaim it. There were already laws which you're going to be relying upon. It has come into existence. What has prompted the hurried formation of this group? That's what I'm asking.
It was never done in a hurry. We're the first in the entire nation to start, security outfits. And I told you that we did this, and in our various states we have laws, and they have been operating. And in some states we have two different kinds. Like in Enugu State, I told you we have forest guards, we have also neighborhood watch. In Ebonyi State, we have neighborhood watch. And they've been working, and they're working very well. And so what we didn't have, which the committee we put up together, have been working on, is a name, a mode of operation, a mode of cooperation, and of course, a common funding for the programs that is placed at Enugu at our headquarters. That is what is not there, and that's what we're going to amend our constitution to accommodate.
What is the thinking about how to ensure that it's not hijacked by politicians? Because I mean, you will leave office at some point. All the governors in the Southeast will be out of office. What's that thinking, such that it stays as it is informed?
Everyone has to operate within the limit of the law that is in place. So this is, the only, limitation, of what we can call, check and balances to ensure that it's not, taken over by politicians.
The issues that perhaps Your Excellency might want to take on along with your colleagues is that of ownership by the various communities. Because just on Twitter now, Olagunji Oladele, for instance, is saying that, that all that he has heard so far doesn't help inspire confidence. So now, perhaps that also begs the question of how is this Ebube Agu being communicated to the people in a way that they can take ownership of it? Because, as you know, nature abhors vacuum.
The problem of this country is that people will leave their problems, and I love them for that. I make your problems their problems, But what some of these people are doing is to incite the Southeast into war, and they will step aside. And we are not going to buy into that. We are not going to be deceived again. We have to manage our faith. Whether it inspires confidence in him or not, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that our people will be satisfied with our efforts in protecting their lives and properties. Our people must be very careful, and know that there are grand plans of people who have no interest in Southeast to incite them into war. And we are wiser than that. We will not buy into that.
Now, the killings, the attacks that occurred in your state, for instance, I know you have spoken strongly about it, and you did say when the vice president visited that a solution needed to be found. But not long after that, there was another attack in some other areas. Could you give us an update? What is the current situation now?
Well, the attack we had, the herdsmen attack, was just once, and the Shell local government. But what people are doing now is that if there is any conflict, it's easier for them to say the herdsmen, and we've come out strongly to debunk that. And we've come out strongly to let them know that some of these things, will not, provide the needed peace that our people need, living outside South. This is very important. We have a conflict in our local government, which is a communal, conflict between two brothers. That has been ongoing, and it has spread over to Benue State because some of our people are also living in Benue State. And just a few days ago, the long-age, land dispute between the Ohuku local government and Agila in Benue State, they came and attacked our people, and a number of people were killed and houses burned, along the border. And it was very easy for people to jump to their Twitters and say that the herdsmen came and attacked us. But one thing that was certain was that the people that came to kill our people, took one of the phones, of the indigenous of our local government. And when we called on the phone, the the voice there was definitely not of Man's voice. And the man was saying that, the owner of this phone has been killed and that they're going to do more killing as far as, we don't leave that land for them. So, but it has already gone, viral. And I think even a channel reported as such. I hope it's been corrected. So these are some of the conflicts we have, and it's been there for a very long time. I think the conflict in that of Hutu axis has been there for over, 50 to 100 years.
So with this latest attack, which came just after the meeting you had with other Southeast governors announcing the commencement of Ebube Agu, which you say has commenced already. In the context of that, we've had an attack. And I mean, Ebube Agu is meant to be a game changer for security in the region, especially in Ebonyi State. So, we've had an attack. So how much of a game changer will Ebube Agu be? In what way could Ebube Agu have, maybe prevented such attack? What will the operationalization of Ebube Agu look like?
Well, even in the Western world, where you have good civilization, the security outfit there is not been able to totally eliminate crime. It will always be there because, crime can be eliminated if you have one man, one security personnel. This is very important. But the important thing is that for that troubled zone, we have deployed security and they will deploy the Ebube Agu there. And we are going to, ensure that such attacks does not happen. And we identify the flashpoints so that we deploy, people there. And for example, that axis, I'm going to recommend to the Nigerian police a joint effort to build a kind of camp within that forest, which is the buffer zone, and so that, future attacks will be prevented. We're also going to be deploying Ebube Agu there to be permanent, within that location. These are the kind of things we're doing. Ebube Agu can come from, because they all contribute and they're all based in local government. But if one local government is troubled, then Ebube Agu will have to move all over the state to rescue, that particular local government.
Well, Your Excellency, you're a leader among leaders in the country, and you naturally be able to speak to some of the bigger issues, so to speak. What is happening in the Southeast in terms of security is not limited to the Southeast, as you well know, as everyone does. But then if you do a simple search online, you will find out that most of the insecurity is usually attributed by security specialists to economic inequalities and the rest of it, unemployment, poverty, and the rest of them. And you also see it at the economic meeting every so often. What would you say is the national plan or national thinking about preventing security as opposed to fighting insecurity as we already have it now?
Well, there are a lot of issues that with around the security matter. There is very high level of unpatriotic acts in the country. There are a lot of people that want to, get to the top, to leadership by all means. And that's even happening in Southeast, where they will go and they hire bandits who go to bomb police stations and then, kill police people, and they turn out to say that they're IPOP. They are not IPOP. They are just criminals being hired by people to do this. But the truth remains that the country is going into extreme politics. And then it is easier to make money in politics. It's easier to make money blackmailing people. It's easier to make money threatening people. It's easier to make money. And so we have departed from the culture of hard work. And so you blame the president, you blame the governors. No, it is everybody's work. In China, everybody is working. You see, I've been to China several times, and you don't see the aged people on the road. You don't see the young working class on the road. You see school children, going from their school back to their homes. So it is important that we depart from this culture of extreme politics and do everything by all means to get to leadership when you don't even have anything to offer. You just want to be a leader, want to be this or that, because there is money there. And people have never managed, 100 million. They want to manage billions. It is difficult. So I would suggest that we should evolve this culture of everybody trying to do something. Have a second or even first address. Let politics be the second address. Before, businessmen had the opportunities of doing contracts. Today, do we still have businessmen doing contracts? Who are the people doing the contracts? These are the problems of the country. It's leadership and also the led. We are all part of the problem. Until we all sit down to agree that we love our country and that, our patriotism is not to our conscience, it's not our, tribe, it's not our, region, but to our nation. This is very important.
All right, then, Your Excellency Dave Umahi, Governor of Ebonyi State and Chairman Southeast Governors Forum, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning.
Kimberly, thank you very much. I appreciate this out. Thank you.
All right, then. We're back in a moment. Join us again. All right, welcome back. Well, we did put up a poll asking, should we limit the role of the courts in deciding who the winner of an election is? And there you go. That is how people voted. 69% of the people say emphatically yes. You got 21 people saying nope, 8% saying it doesn't matter, and 2% just that other ideas with several other comments associated with it.
At least there's little voter apathy in this one. But I mean, the comments are quite interesting. I mean, where you see, winner with the highest votes should be declared. Candidates should be thoroughly screened by the election umpire to avoid certificate forgery before the election day. That's sure. And Arugu says, absolutely yes. If a court has to determine the winner of an election, then it is an indictment on the electoral process.
And it says, if Nigerian electoral law systems is good with proper foundation, the court will have little or nothing to do with who won or wins any election. So they tend to agree with the former president's comments. So there you go. That is it today. Thank you all for watching and for voting as well. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain.
I'm Kayode Okikere.
I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a good day.
Well, we also see your comments with regards to security. I guess we'll be able to take some of them much later. Thank you for watching today. I'm Mark Welgun Yusuf.